And so we have special guests in the house and on the phone. We have Dr.
Banyai. Amazing. Guys, if you don't know Dr. Banyai, she's a Democrat candidate for U.S. House of Representatives, Florida 19. Insane. Yeah. And we got Emil right now going to talk hot topics. And right now, the hot topic is Cuba.
Yes.
Come on.
How are you, Doctor?
Hey, hi, how's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for being a part of Peace on the Streets Hot Topics.
Come on.
Yeah.
Of course, my pleasure.
So I
love to get in there.
We love Dr. Banyai. This is not her first time being live with us on air, so we appreciate her time for tuning in to talk about this. It's amazing to have someone that's in politics discuss this. And for you, Anil, you also are part of this I could say journalism, because he gets in and he is on our team, our media team.
Yes, he is.
So Anil, tell us what's going on. I know you're anxiously waiting. Let's go.
Yeah, I just a little background. Basically, I am Cuban. I was born and raised in Cuba, and I have strong connections to the people still there. We talk. We've been talking on an almost daily basis ever since the riot. Well, not the riots. The protests started in Cuba, and I've been getting information straight from Cuba regarding what's going on. Just to give it the short end of it, and to make a long story short. There was a massive uprising because there was a total lack of medicine, vaccines, food, infrastructure, basically everything. But really, the coronavirus is what made everything come to a tipping point. We have been getting pictures of like the most disastrous, almost wartime conditions coming out of the hospitals, where you have like connections from the wall just being wired, tincted together to be able to function. Yet there's like no medicine, there's like no food.
A short of medicine.
And although ultimately those were the reasons why the people came out into the streets, it has also now become more than that, to where the regime is now punishing people and going as far as dragging people straight out of their homes post-protest. I have video proof of actual like police and government officials going into people's homes and dragging them out of their house and making them disappear. Whoa. There were lines of women standing outside of the police stations looking for their husbands, their sons, and more.
Oh my goodness!
And the Cuban government, they're blaming the United States.
Really?
The Diaz-Canel actually told the Cuban communists, like there are still communist people in Cuba, people that believe in communism, and he told them to go up in arms against the people that are revolting. So he basically mandated a civil war within the Cuban people. And like the police are just doing outrageous things, like shooting a population that has no guns, zero weapons.
They're not allowed to.
You can't do that. That's automatically a war crime. They have nothing but sticks and rocks. Like there's no weapons. What? There's no guns. There's nothing. There's not even swords. A couple people have machetes, and that's about the extent of it, right? And so, unfortunately, a lot of the politicians here in Florida, they love using the whole communism is bad thing, socialism is bad thing, to get votes from the Cuban people. Whenever it's convenient for them, they love touting that line. But whenever it's time to actually take action, like it is right now, the only thing we're hearing is we're not going to do anything. We might bring some internet to the people, but that is not something that has been reached to any kind of final conclusion. At the moment, the United States is idly sitting by and allowing the Cuban people to struggle without any plan to help whatsoever.
Let's get Doctor in.
Yes, Dr. Banyai.
How you feel about what's going on, Doc?
Oh, yeah. I mean, thank you so much for relaying that valuable information from the front there in Cuba. I think it's an absolute travesty of what's going on there. And we know that the people have been oppressed for a very long time. So, I'm running for Congress, but I'm a political scientist and a governance expert as well. I've written and published extensively about this. So one thing, just to pick up on the fear tactics around communism, what we really see above and beyond a political system, a political preference in Cuba, is authoritarianism and oppression of the people. That's the true enemy of people. I feel very, very strongly that people have the right to self-determination, that we should embrace the will of the people. And I'm really dismayed that we don't have a better foreign policy response here in the United States.
Are we allowed to step into this, though? Don't we kind of get ourselves involved a lot?
Yeah, it's a really tough situation, frankly, especially given the long history of conflict with Cuba going back to the Cold War and the Soviet Union. In fact, there's people stoking those fears again, saying that the Soviet Union may come in to support the government, and then what are we going to do? So this could be a real flashpoint for us.
Isn't this dictatorship?
Yeah, absolutely. What happened in Cuba has been a dictatorship, but it's also just like once Castro, passed, and
Thought it was over.
Well, the regime just kind of got passed down, and the corruption that followed it. The sons and grandsons of those people live luxury lifestyles like those of Saudi princes, while the rest of the Cuban people are forced into destitute situations. And really, again, what I want to come back to is that we need politicians here in the USA to just get a little bit more involved, because again, we love to use the Cuban people for votes. They always like to get the votes. Republicans love getting that, but now that it's time to actually do something, I don't see anything.
Is that something?
There's over 214 sanctions that Donald Trump put onto the Cuban people during his presidency. Why can't we do something about that? Can we not bring in at least food or medicine for the people? At least something besides just we stand with the people and maybe we're going to give you internet in who knows how long.
Right, so they had their internet cut off.
Yeah, and when
that's crazy.
Yeah.
They cut off their internet, guys, so they can't discuss this, I guess, or speak to us.
That's what they do to cut off the information circuit, but they tried that in Egypt, and ultimately what ended up happening is they stoked the fires of rebellion even more, and after they cut off the internet, the rebellion there got even worse. So I feel like we're at a similar point here in Cuba where things are just boiling over, and I feel like the United States strategy right now is just to wait and see. But Doctor, what do you think is something we could do? Like I said, that's not just we stand with the people, and maybe we'll give you internet in a couple days, weeks, or whatever, maybe.
And with this said, the U.S. embargo does have a negative impact on the economy, restricting imports and exports and making it riskier for investors to put money into Cuba. So investors don't even want to invest in Cuba.
No, it's risky.
Super risky.
Yeah. Well, that's been the long-term strategy with the trade embargoes and all the sanctions on Cuba from the very beginning is, and frankly, unfortunately, this is the strategy worldwide, is if you pinch the people long enough, they will uprise against their government. That's actually the tactical strategy behind them, fully knowing that it's going to hurt people first. And it's awful. I've never been a fan of these types of embargoes and sanctions that can impinge upon human, needs. But this is the strategy that some hawkish folks like to take. Frankly, it happens to be the same people who happen to be decrying communism, and they think that this is a means to an end, unfortunately, which is one of the reasons why the sanctions got put back by Trump after they had been a long period of increasing relations with Cuba. I think above and beyond that, though, because right now, even if we did lift those types of sanctions, it wouldn't immediately help folks. I think in the immediate term, what we need to consider is making sure that people who are fleeing the country or want to flee the country can have easy access to the United States through temporary protected status, refugee status here, which is something that had also been tightened under Trump's administration.
Didn't even know that's an option, Neil.
Yeah, we used to have this thing where if a Cuban touched the United States soil, they automatically got a green card. That was done away with, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that is something we could reinstate that could help. But ultimately, I still think, where the help is really needed is over there.
Yeah.
So they have
I
total
think there's
control.
Humanitarian options, too. We could definitely use that. And I'm a fan of soft diplomacy like that. So making sure that we're winning hearts and minds through doing the right thing instead of using these strategies that are going to hurt people.
Can I ask, what is making the politicians right now so unable to even say, yeah, maybe we could get like some food over there, like maybe we can get a
Or
couple
drop off
batches of medicine,
like they did in Puerto Rico.
I literally haven't. I've been paying close attention. Like I saw DeSantis' entire press conference yesterday. I saw Marco Rubio. I've been following their tweets, and I haven't literally heard anybody say that so far.
Those guys
not
won't.
even that. The only thing they want to hear is Biden say that communism is bad, and that's literally all they want. They just want to stoke the fears of communism and use that hate to promote themselves. They're doing what they always do, right? They're using our tragedy to benefit themselves. And right now, again, doctor, if you would, what do you think is keeping people from just, we can maybe look into getting food and medicine over to Cuba ASAP? What do you think is holding people back from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're right on point with calling out the politicization of the situation and how, like I said, some of those hawkish conservative and Republican folks who like to fearmonger around communism are kind of, showing up at rallies and all that kind of stuff, but they're really doing very little in terms of action in relation to helping the people or even solving the political crisis happening there as well. I think on the other side of the coin, particularly with the Biden administration, which is in charge of foreign policy right now, they are at a bit of a stalemate because they're walking this political line because of the fear mongering of communism, but also there's issues with sovereignty. Cuba being its own country, you can't just kind of roll in there and do what you want as a foreign country. So you have to have relationships, and we also expelled diplomats, so we don't have formalized relations with that country. So we can't even do some of those types of things that we would do with a more friendly nation. We're not going to be able to send aid in the same way because of that. So that's why, and aside from kind of militarily intervening, which again is a whole other issue, which you are inevitably going to draw in the Soviet Union. So it's a huge, huge conundrum, to be honest, both politically, geopolitically, and even militarily.
So we're just going to watch this.
How real is the threat of Russia getting involved? Because I got to say, like, as a Cuban, I don't think Russia really cares too much about us. They haven't really cared too much about us in the last several decades. Even it used to be the case that China and Russia did have strong ties with Cuba. They would send over electronics. They would send in money and things like that. But as of the last several decades, that relationship is almost non-existent. I would really, I'm trying to tell everybody, the best things we can do as a people, as a nation, as Cuban immigrants that are out here trying to support the rest of us is to at least call our representatives and make these statements known, let our intentions be known, and let them know that the very fact that we voted them in allows us to vote them out if they're not going to listen to these points. What do you, Doctor, from you are running for District 19 in Florida, correct?
Yes, that's right. So I'm in Southwest Florida. So we do have Cuban folks over here as well. And it's not quite as large of a population as in, the Miami area, for instance. Of course. But it's definitely a concern overall. I mean, these are some of our closest neighbors as well. And back to your point about, the relationship with the former Soviet Union, you're right. It used to be a lot stronger, but there is a level of opportunism that people are worried about when it comes to Russia and how they may be interested in swooping in. Now, I honestly don't know how realistic that is, but that's definitely something that people are talking about. I also want to say, I think that you are absolutely on point well with saying, call your representatives. Let them know how you feel. Let them know that you're upset with the fear-mongering around communism. Let them know that you expect them to do more to help the people, because that will put additional pressure on elected officials to do the right thing for the people. And additionally, and this is why people are so wonderful, is that what we can do is rally with one another. So I loved how you were saying that you were calling and talking to folks, helping to share and amplify their story. These are things that individual people can do as well. And I don't know how much of the communications or other lines of, sending cash or things like that to family and friends there. I don't know how much that is up, but I would say as much individual one-on-one support that you can provide to folks outside of direct government intervention is also going to, affect the lives of people there.
Are we allowed to send food and money, to Cuba?
Not right now.
Will they stop that, you think?
Yeah, it's not working right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
We got to get one song in, you guys.
Don't leave yet, Dr. Banyai, because, guys, in order to make this happen, we got to vote for politicians. Even if they're in seat, we can still take them out.
Yes.
Don't forget, Dr. Cindy Banyai is running for U.S. House of Representatives for Florida 19. Don't forget, individuals like this, we need to vote in.
Exactly.
So don't leave, Dr. Banyai. We'll be right back. Let's go, Prince.
Right here on Peace on the Street.
Oh, good job, Anil. Woo! Peace.
Welcome back to Peace on the Streets, you guys. We have a hot topic tonight, and we're talking about Cuba. We're talking about different countries, you all, and we complain about what's going on in America. I mean,
we're kind of controlled. Don't get it twisted,
yeah.
but not suppressed. Kind of, but not like
something
that.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's shortage on food, and ain't nobody trying to help. And so, just imagine the
Vaccines?
madness,
Yeah.
the madness
Vaccination?
in grocery stores.
There was a strong quote that came out recently from somebody in Cuba. I'm sorry, I forgot the exact name, but it said, they took away so much, they even took away my fear.
Oh my gosh!
It says it all.
I got
Really, that says
goosebumps.
it. Yeah, that said it all, really. 'Cause it's rough, they just take little by little and then ton by ton, and then, before you know it, it's really like they say, there's cops showing up to your house, dragging you out of your house and making you disappear.
So you have to hide like they did. I'm sorry to say, but back in the Nazis section,
Yeah,
they had to hide in their homes and hide in the attics and all that.
I know we use that whole Nazi thing kind of too much in modern culture, but honestly, what's going on right now in Cuba is getting to that point.
That's crazy.
Like if you see the videos, I've been sharing them, so you guys can go to at Latin Shinobi or Enio Leyva on Facebook, Alex Leyva on Facebook, and just look at the videos that I've been posting. They're straight from Cuba. And you can see the brutality that's going on right now. And again, this started because of the shortages, because of COVID, because of food, because of medicine. But now the way the regime is retaliating against our people is honestly just, it's rough. And I'm sorry.
No, I understand, my brother.
So, Doc,
terrible.
we let Doc get yourself together, brother.
That's right. And Neo's from Cuba, so that's him. You know what I mean? And so it's amazing to have him with us. God bless you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And you made it. May I ask, how did you make it here?
Honestly, I live with a lot of guilt, honestly, living here, because I think a lot of Cubans that make it out feel this way. But my grandfather was a general in Cuba. He was one of the main people that started the revolution with Fidel. And, he allowed us to travel, basically. He just wrote my name down, and he was like, okay, you can leave the country. So we went to Mexico. And from Mexico, we came here. And, the privilege that we experienced being able to come over here. And I think back to even as a privileged person in Cuba, I look back at the school that I went to had no windows. It had no electricity. It was like a chalkboard. All the chairs were fucked up. I look back at pictures of it and I cry. I'm like, damn, I was so happy, but things were so bad. And I march. You know me. I'm always at the protests. I'm always at the marches.
Yes.
I'm always doing that. And a big part of that is just because I hold that feeling and that connection to my people that can't do that,
Wow.
Well, I think that may have been your journey.
It's the protests and the marching that keeps a country great. It's being able to express yourself. It's the people being allowed to go to the streets and manifest and being able to show their intentions. That's what makes a country great. And I complain about the United States because I wanted to improve, but ultimately it is a great country. We are blessed with incredible gifts of freedom and wealth beyond imagination.
Exactly.
Wealth to excess, right? And I want to protect that. And a big part of protecting that is going to have to be the way that we treat other countries. We haven't had a great track record. We haven't had a great track
Agree.
record with Venezuela. We haven't had a
Nope.
great track record with Cuba, but it's never too late to turn it around and to make things great again, right?
And
I don't want to
Syria,
take
too.
I don't want to say the old cliche, but let's make America great.
Right.
But didn't we get in on Haiti and went and going in for what's
we've done
happening?
many messed up things, right?
Yeah,
But today is 2021, and I think that we're facing a new future, and I think that even though things are always darkest before dawn, right? So these protests are in a way a good thing. It's the people coming to take control of their land again.
But isn't this against some bill to where we can't watch the countries kill their people? Isn't that like inhumane to where there's some sort of
Let's ask the doc.
Dr.
Yeah.
Banyai? Yes.
If you can pitch in. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I sure wish there was, but there's really not. So with this type of thing, one of the best forums that we have is the United Nations. So one thing that the United States could be doing would be rallying support by the United Nations to have, an international decree to say that they're, to stand in opposition to, the protesters being shot and people disappearing and things like that. This is, again, where we're going to come up against Russia because Russia has a veto on the Security Council. So it's very unlikely that anything like that would happen. Now, the United States could try it to get it out there, but it's probably not going to go anywhere, unfortunately. So, no, we don't have to step in anywhere. I mean, that's kind of the tragedy of things to a certain extent. I did want to say something though about, the power of protest and how important it is. And it's, I have felt so, I really appreciate the people who are bravely standing up and in Cuba right now. And we have protests going on here in Florida, across the United States, across the world, in solidarity with those folks. And, I don't know if people in the United States always realize this, but the protest is a protected right under the First Amendment to redress our government, to be able to say critical things for the purpose of improvement and not have consequences from them. So one of the things that's been fascinating on this side here in Florida in particular about this has been the large protest that sprung up across the state, and it kind of came up to a head on something that had passed the state legislature, which was the anti-riot bill. Whereas if people had obstructed traffic like they did on, I think, on I-94 and they did on I-75 over in my side of the state, they could be immediately arrested. Now, the fascinating part about it is that they weren't arrested. Many people in our state believe that goes against our freedom of the First Amendment, our freedom of protest. So it's been a very interesting first test about it, but I think that we absolutely need to continue to support our right of speech and gathering and protest in the United States and stand up for it so that other people around the world, like the people in Cuba, have the power and the model to do so as well.
Now, Doctor, I wasn't going to touch on this, but since you brought it up, I was looking into that anti-riot bill and like how the people that are blocking the streets are supposed to be fined. What do you think the odds are that the only reason why they're not, crashing down on them with these laws is because they're Cubans and we happen to have a Republican, Mr. DeSantis, and he knows that if he starts taking away those Cuban votes, those Republican votes are going to go
he's
down
gone.
quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do you think the odds are
Absolutely.
if they weren't, Republican voters, that these laws would still be held up? Because I have a strong feeling if we were out there fighting for Black Lives Matter like we were, not too long ago, or for free healthcare, I'm pretty sure those laws were going to be a little bit more enforced. What do you think on that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the whole critique, of course, is that was very intentional, and this is very intentionally being disregarded because this happens to, you're right, play up to a voting bloc that the Republicans of the state of Florida want to curry favor with, and that frankly a lot of Republican politicians are participating in. So it's, which is interesting though, because both Democrats and Republicans are very much on the same side of this issue. We all want to end oppression. We all want to help the people of Cuba, but because it had been much stronger in their political favor, that's what a lot of people are surmising, that it was not enforced because of those political reasons, which is very unfortunate for the freedom of speech for all the rest of us.
And that's insane. And guess what? We're going to tag DeSantis. We're going to tag them all. Peace on the streets, because they're on the corner, guys.
Absolutely.
And we voted them and had them here.
Yeah, and I've been posting, their phone, like the phone numbers for their offices, Marco Rubio and DeSantis.
Awesome.
And I want to make a campaign about that. So spread that as much as we can. Get their numbers out to everyone, so everyone can call them and let them know. How they feel about the situation. And Marco Rubio is like Cuban. It's kind of wild that he even needs to be pushed on this issue, but here we are,
Right.
But all of them definitely need to be addressed. And Doctor, I wanted to run by you real quick. What do you think about Biden's response? I myself, although I consider myself independent, I do tend to vote Democratic most of the time. I did vote for Biden in this election. But I couldn't help but find his response weak at best.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you say? What's your opinion on his response, Doctor?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a very challenging situation in that position because, like I said, the geopolitics, the stopgap that they essentially are running up against with Russia. So it kind of curtails the ability to go through anything with the United Nations. It kind of makes any sort of, intervention or humanitarian intervention just that much more of a minefield, really. And so, I had wished, and a lot of people, again, would like to have seen the sanctions eliminated and things like that, something that would help the people at the very least if we didn't have a geopolitical strategy related to it. But, I just think that they're in such a tough situation and frankly somewhat cowed by the communism thing. And they don't want to hang anything out there that the Republicans can start jabbing at as well.
I mean, that seems kind of like weak sauce, honestly, because it's like, yeah, they can talk about socialism, but you can talk back.
And we're going to have this conversation. Our time is running short, but we're going to have this conversation again. We're
Absolutely.
just going to keep this updated. Even you all can do some call-ins, just kind of keep us updated, on what's going on in Cuba.
You know what's very beneficial? How Dr. Banyai released a lot of information on how to go about it for us. Go to United Nations, target these candidates or not candidates actually voted in seat already.
Right.
Go out to them and reach out to them. Don't be afraid, guys. Do a write-up, do a tag, do a post, do it all because it is seen. They may not reply, but it is being seen.
We have to put the pressure on our politicians.
Well, it makes sense. And he was right. You know how we protested in the United States about Black Lives Matter? We were all over the streets in every state.
Right.
All over it, crowding the streets. We have a strong voice, and we have the freedom to do so.
Absolutely.
So I say we stick together, and you let me know if you protest or you down. I will join you, my brother.
We appreciate you all for being a part of Peace on the Street.
Absolutely, guys. Don't forget, if you want to find out more information and help vote Dr. Banyai in office, reach out to Democrat candidate for U.S. House of Representatives. She's Florida District 19. Dr. Banyai, she is tagged on our page. You can't miss her. Thank you so much, Dr. Banyai, for your time. So insightful.
Thanks for this amazing conversation.
Yeah, thank you all.
Ow!
For tuning in to Peace on the Street Radio Show.
To make a brighter day, just you and me. Come on.
That was a Jaminated 5.
Perfect music for this topic.
Come on. We got to hold these politicians accountable.
Come on, guys.
Yes, sir. Right now. Come on.
We are God's children.
Thank you. There were so many stars in this song.
Absolutely. Hey, maybe we should make a song, have all of our artists.
Okay, yeah.
Give a shout out about protesting.
Sounds good.
Hey.
Just make sure I'm not in there.
They can make a song like this to support.
I'll destroy that. gonna sue us.
Go ahead, please.
This is my graduation song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I graduated high school, this was out. This and Prince, the Doves Cry and all that. That was doing mine when we reached in 85.
Whoa.
And I'm looking at this video. So many people that was in this In the World video is gone. They're not here no more.
That was a long time ago. Think about it. The 80s to me doesn't sound like too long ago.
It doesn't.
But
it's really not, really.
But
Make
when
a better
kids
day.
that were born in the year 2000 are now legal to drink. You know?
I can't even
That's
take them
hard
out.
to think about. That's hard to think about. It's like, you're born in 2000, you're good to drink. Like, they don't even gotta check your ID no more. If it starts with a 1 and a 9, they know you already.
Exactly.
They know you all.
When you say your
okay.
year, they're like, man, that's not even that long ago.
Yeah, 'cause we were born in the last decade.
When I hear 2000, I'm like, man, I can't even like take you out.
Feels like
So
a
we're
kid.
gonna wrap this part up.
That's
y'all.
right, guys. A big shout out to Jessica Baker out there at Tennessee, man. She has a new track that's out. She's been on our show. She flew from Tennessee to be on Peace on the Streets. Big shout out to her. She's impressive, amazing. Big shout out to Emily, the American Mermaid. We truly appreciate your support. She's a beast in the game. Check her out. And Neo, thank you for being with us. Please release your shout outs and everything.
Well, of course, first, thank you guys so much for having me on and allowing me to speak and allowing me to bring attention to the important situation going on in Cuba. And for more of that, and in order to be able to have some more videos directly from the people in Cuba, all right? I have access to people over there, and they're sending me videos directly from Cuba. So if you want to stay more informed, you can reach out to me on my Facebook at Alex Leyva. You can reach out to me on my Instagram at Latin Shinobi. Or if, I don't know, you can even go to my website, I guess, to style93llc.com. And, you know, I've been thinking about doing some things. I'll follow up more with that, maybe doing some kind of like a charity thing where I can sell the products that are already in my website and have the proceeds go towards the cause in Cuba.
Wow.
So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But thank you guys so much for having me on and allowing me to speak about this. Again, the importance of the situation is something that cannot be, you know, I can't put it into words. Even, you know, what's happening with my people, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to overcome an oppressive regime. And I'm here for them. I'm going to continue doing everything that I can for them. And I thank you so much to everyone to also help us, you know, get ahead. And if I may, just one quick second, I just want to, you know, give a word out in Spanish.
Yes.
Pero para toda mi gente en Cuba, todos los de nosotros que estamos fuera del país, seguimos con Cuba en nuestro corazón, seguimos pensando en nuestra isla y los tenemos a cada uno de ustedes en nuestra mente. Hoy y siempre somos un pueblo unido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. ¡Viva Cuba libre! Y nos vemos pronto, mi gente. Seremos libres. Gracias.
That's right. We support you, Cuba. We support our family. We got you in Neo. Let us know how we're going to go about things, and we support you because we know whatever you end up building in proceeds, we know you're going to get it directly there.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
How
100%.
loyal and sincere and humble you are, always, my brother. So thank you so much. We support you. Thank you.
Thank
We
you, fam.
appreciate God for bringing you to us.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
Awesome show.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you. You could make me tear. Thank you so much for being with Peace on the Streets, guys. Every Wednesday, tune in from 9 to 11 and now 12 a.m. Peace on the Streets Radio, WOKB, 3-time Stellar Awards winner.
Yeah.
Ow!
Let's go. Thank you.
Don't forget, guys, the saddest thing is wasted talent. Talent we have here.
Right.
Don't waste the gift that God has given you. We have the power of media. Go full force. Don't let intimidation stop you. Buenas noches, Orlando. We love you.
Buenas
Yeah.
noches, Cuba.
Come
¡Viva
on.
Cuba libre!
Come on.
We'll be back on again next Wednesday, you guys. So continue to listen to Peace on the Streets radio show. Cuba, we watching. Haiti, we watching.
That's right.
People, we
We with
have to
y'all.
hold our politicians accountable for what's going on. in
United
Cuba.
Nations, House of Representatives.
That's right.
Let's go.
Peace on the streets, you guys.
Peace.
And once we all stick together, like Louis Armstrong said, what a wonderful world this will be.
Come on, that's why God made us.
Hey, we all one race, you all, and that is the
Human race. Amen,
That's
my
right.
brother.
All right, y'all. We're going to ride out with Louis Armstrong.
Take it
right
home.
here on Peace on the
Let's
Streets.
go to bed.
Come on. Come on, Prince. Guess what?
Oh, yeah.
I got some Instagram shout outs real quick.
Okay.
And why we release this is because these guys strictly follow us and share our work and comments. And we appreciate them. Without them, we wouldn't be running a third-time Stella Award.
That's right.
Come on.
All right
See,
now.
I Neo Ow, Superman. Neo.
All right. Give
So,
my shout out.
Huge shout out. Jesus. All the way from Los Angeles at Jesus_EJ. Big shout out to him. He's been patiently waiting. We
Okay.
appreciate you. Sean from Orlando at Mission 823 Inc. He helps run missionaries. Impressive. Big shout out to him. We got Afin all the way from St. Galaxy, West Africa.
Yeah.
Big shout out to our brother that's been following us and supporting us. It's amazing.
I'm telling you.
I love it. We got Lily right now. Lily Carrillo watching us right now from California at Lily_love. Man, her spirit is impressive.
California love.
That love? Oh, boy. We got Herbison Paul from Orlando at Footwork Junkie that wants to be an intern with Peace on the Streets. We got his application.
Whoop, whoop.
He's going to be on our team.
Foot junkie.
Graphic artist, baby.
Yeah.
We got Kenneth Garnier, Minneapolis, Minnesota. How cool is that?
Hey, Minnesota in the house.
That's right, at Kenneth P. Garnier. That's it right now, guys. I ran a list the first hour. The second hour, like I told you guys, our word is bond. We appreciate you deeply. Thank you for being a Peace on the Streets.
Peace on the streets.